Avengers, assemble. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're enjoying the content we produce, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you're in a position to support us, check out our Patreon, of which is linked in the description below. So, this is news that is really exciting for me. I am, of course, to preface, nostalgic. I think we're all a little nostalgic at heart, and for me, in terms of Marvel, nostalgia is best represented by those first two Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. I don't believe Spider-Man has ever been handled with as much love, care, and attention as those first two films with Tobey Maguire. Having said all of that, Sam Raimi, of course, is one of my favorite directors. He has a style and a sensibility that is uniquely his. I'm still bummed we didn't get his Warcraft film or his approach to Star Wars. There was a rumor years and years ago that Lucasfilm approached Sam Raimi for a Star Wars project. Again, it was only ever rumor. Maybe it wasn't even true to begin with, but it still excited me nonetheless because I love Sam Raimi's approach, and he has a great eye in terms of presenting visuals on film. So when news broke that Sam Raimi had been approached to direct Avengers Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2, I started paying attention. I loved the visuals in Multiverse of Madness. I can be nitpicky. There are things about Multiverse of Madness I do not like. I don't think they come down to Sam Raimi, if I'm being honest. Again, this is a corporate studio film. You blame the people at that corporate level who's saying this is what the story has to be, this is who has to be in it, this is what it has to be. Because again, it is that kind of job. It's that kind of on-the-machine job, if you will. But still, even with all of that, Sam Raimi managed to bring his own style and substance to a series, that series being the MCU at large, and stand out and really, really find a vision there with the character. And I think that says a lot about Sam Raimi. If you watch any of his interviews, even before Multiverse of Madness, even going all the way back to, Evil Dead and his first Spider-Man films, he's legitimately a fan of this. He read the comics. Now, yeah, he doesn't read modern comics, but honestly, no one does. The sales speak enough for that. So you can't really blame anybody for not reading the modern comics. Marvel's, best period, I've said this time and time again, was you can chart it by when modern Marvel from the 60s through the 80s, that's the best period of comics. You can read everything and have an amazing, spectacular time. See what I did there? But you can't hold against anyone for not being able to go, wait, who's all been Venom since Eddie Brock, and how many octopi have there been? And wait, Otto Octavius was inside Peter Parker? That's what he said. And again, if you don't even get any of that, you might be no, wait, wrong series. Anyway, as it stands, I am unbelievably excited. We don't usually talk about this stuff. I don't usually give this kind of news in terms of, oh, hey, they've approached a director, they're talking, because it can fall apart at the drop of a hat, which is why in our Discord, I usually pretty much, like, if I hear anything, I drop it there. There's stuff that I'll turn around and want to talk about because it excites me, but in terms of like, hey, this is coming down the grapevine, these meetings are being scheduled, all of that's posted on our Discord, usually weeks and weeks before I ever get to a point of talking about it. But with Sam Raimi, I want to talk about it because when I posted in the Discord that, Sam Raimi's been approached and he's coming back around to Marvel because they loved working with him, as they should. I mean, the modern Marvel film, the popularity of it wouldn't exist without Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Let's just be honest there. I mean, you got to give the man credit. He started all of this in a way. Anyway, so when that news broke, I got really excited, posted it as soon as I heard it, and someone reached out and said, I'd rather the Russo brothers direct it. And for me, I was like, oh, I don't want that. And I've made my peace with Infinity War and Endgame, that they weren't exactly what I wanted that to be. And I say this again as a grown man who read these comics as a kid, especially the Infinity Gauntlet, where it was like, that was a big deal for me. Like, oh my God, all these people together, and Thanos just killed everyone, and I could go on and on. That comic was cool, and that comic meant a lot to me as a kid. And to see it really not faithfully adapted at all, and to see them go in the direction that they did go in with Endgame, I was disappointed. I don't really care for the numerous constant cutting in Russo films, especially how they film action. I have a lot of things that, in terms of my views on cinematography and my approach to filmmaking, I think they're not for me. They did what they did. That's great. But I'm ready for Avengers to be handled by other people. I'm ready to see a different crew take on the Avengers and to take on that banner and to take on that franchise. And frankly, I don't think anyone could do it better than Sam Raimi. He loves these properties. He was reading about these characters. He was reading these comics. He deserves a chance to put an end to this period of the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. When you think about what Secret Wars is, when you think about everyone coming together, and everything going all the way back to what Sam Raimi started. And, I mean, yeah, you can give X-Men credit, but, I mean, let's be honest. Bryan Singer's a pedophile. He's never going to work for Marvel. But Sam Raimi, thankfully, is not a pedophile. So they kept him around. And I think to see it come full circle and to see Sam Raimi direct the finale of the multiverse before everybody's recast again, and especially a film that we know is going to be led by Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine in a multiversal fight for the ages. I mean, it's like poetry. It rhymes. Thank you so much for watching. Above all else and most importantly, stay safe, take care of others, and have a marvelous day. Bye, everyone.